CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Thanks for joining us this Friday. We are delving into the ruling just announced by the Supreme Court on the final day of its term. It is a closely watched case involving President Trump's move to restrict birthright citizenship. The decision centering on the ability of judges to halt the president's actions and not whether the actual policy is constitutional. Natalie Brand breaks it down from the White House.
In a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Friday to limit the power of judges to issue nationwide injunctions to block a president's executive order. The opinion, written by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, split along the court's ideological lines and says in part, these injunctions, known as universal injunctions, likely exceed the equitable authority that Congress has given to federal courts.
She's also saying very clearly that when people walk into federal court now and they ask for relief of an executive order, they cannot get these universal injunctions anymore. Instead, courts are limited in the scope, the remedy that they can provide.
The justices did not rule on birthright citizenship protected by the Constitution's 14th Amendment. But President Trump, hailing the decision as a monumental victory, said the administration plans to move forward with his executive order.
This lets us go there and finally win that case because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves.
Federal judges in Washington, Maryland, and Massachusetts blocked that policy nationwide, saying it violates the Constitution. Their injunctions escalated all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, calling into question the power of a single lower court judge to block a presidential policy.
Writing for the minority, Justice Sonia Sotomayor in her dissent said no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates.
In the dissents, what you saw was an argument that, okay, yes, there is a proper process, but there are certain cases where it would be appropriate for a single court to issue a nationwide injunction.
The fight over nationwide injunctions goes back years, with presidents from both parties criticizing them. But the legality of President Trump's birthright citizenship order remains unresolved, with legal experts expecting another wave of lawsuits.
The case is challenging the president's executive order trying to end birthright citizenship have been sent back to lower courts for review. In response to the ruling, community leaders, advocates, and elected officials gathered in San Francisco's Chinatown this morning to reaffirm their commitment to upholding birthright citizenship. We heard from the great-grandson of Wong Kim Ark, the San Francisco-born man whose landmark case established birthright citizenship in the U.S.
We are both Americans. But unlike him, my citizenship has never been challenged. His willingness to stand up and fight made the difference. For his struggles, my humble thanks. We must stand together. We are a nation of immigrants. What kind of nation are we to be? With stateless children born to no country.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta says he will continue to fight to make sure President Trump's executive order never has a chance to be implemented. And Massachusetts Attorney General, who was also part of the case challenging the order, stressed that a nationwide injunction is necessary to protect birthright citizenship.
And if we allow the president to use an executive order to dismantle the 14th Amendment, he can then do that with respect to any other amendment. All of which we have been saying from the very beginning is unconstitutional and that he does not have the authority and the power to do that via an executive order.
The birthright citizenship injunction was one of 6 major cases the Supreme Court was announcing today. The court decided not to rule on a case challenging congressional maps. It upheld a Texas law requiring age verification for pornographic websites. The court also kept in place decades-old programs to deliver internet access to rural areas. It rejected a challenge to part of the Affordable Care Act regarding preventative care. And in a 6-3 decision, the court ruled parents of elementary school students can have their kids excused from reading LGBTQ inclusive books. Much more reaction to today's Supreme Court ruling. Coming up at 5, we're going to have continuing coverage on air and online, kpix.com, and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. Governor Newsom is suing Fox News for claiming that he lied about whether he talked with President Trump. Newsom said earlier this month that there was no conversation with the president before Trump ordered the National Guard to Los Angeles. Well, now the governor says that Fox News essentially accused him of dishonesty when it showed a White House call log that later turned out to be erroneous. Newsom is suing the network for $787 million unless it issues a formal retraction and on-air apology from anchor Jesse Waters. We now know the name of the naval ship that used to be called the USNS Harvey Milk. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says in a statement this morning, quote, "We are taking the politics out of ship naming." Of course, Milk was California and San Francisco's first openly gay politician. The ship that bore his name is now going to be called the USNS Oscar V. Peterson, after a man who was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his service during World War II. Sunday is San Francisco's big Pride Parade, one of the biggest celebrations in the world. Mayor Daniel Lurie says safety is the top priority this year. Police will be fully staffed at all stations with specialized units ready to respond if necessary. One of the biggest events starts tonight, where about 14,000 people will take part in the Trans March from Dolores Park to the Tenderloin starting at 6 p.m. And thousands of people flooding the city for the parade on Sunday. Our Gianna Franco has a look at some of the traffic impacts.
It's Pride Weekend in San Francisco, which means there will be a lot of people in and around the city, as well as street closures that are already in place, lasting all the way through Monday morning. So expect some traffic delays and reroutes as you navigate the downtown areas, especially for the festivities happening at Civic Center on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, we've got the San Francisco Pride Parade on Sunday, which starts at Market Street, not too far from Embarcadero, right at Beale, and goes all the way over towards Civic Center. Now, public transit is your best way to get into San Francisco. You've got BART as an option, also Caltrain if you're headed into the city. And again, those reroutes, so keep that in mind if you plan on taking Muni.
And we would love you to join us for our Pride special coming up this Sunday on Pix Plus. We're going to highlight members of the LGBTQ community making a difference here in the Bay Area. All starts at 10 a.m. Sunday on Pix Plus. All right, now let's take a live look outside where the sun is shining ahead of a nice warm Pride weekend in the Bay Area. Let's check in with meteorologist Zoe Mintz.
Oh, what a beautiful day out there. If you have walked outside over the past hour or so in San Francisco, what a nice change of pace. We are seeing temperatures right now 67 degrees. And just to put things into perspective, we have not seen a single day in the month of June reaching 70 degrees in San Francisco. So, hey, we are already nearly there at noon, and there is the potential. Models are a little bit back and forth on whether or not we'll actually reach that 70-degree mark, but we'll be pretty darn close. Right now, temperatures across the rest of the Bay are sitting in those mid to upper 70s to mid to lower 80s, and by later this afternoon, again, we are going to continue to warm up to slightly above average along our coastal communities and well above average farther inland. As farther inland, you've been seeing plenty of sunshine all day, while along the coast, you can see our satellite imagery. A little bit of that fog is currently making its way closer to our coastal communities, keeping those temperatures just a little bit cooler, mid to lower 60s, but with plenty of sunshine and relatively calm winds. Honestly, it's a really beautiful day out there. Mid 90s across our inland areas will stick around through tomorrow, but there is a cool down on the way, and I'll let you know when you can expect it coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Zoe. Now look at some of your other news headlines. A deadly crash involving 3 cars snarling traffic on the East Bay. 2 East Bay freeways, in fact, this morning. It happened just before 3:30. A semi and a car collided, sending the car flying off Interstate 580 and onto I-80 near the Buchanan Street exit below. You can see the wreckage there. A big rig was also involved in that crash. Police have not released any information on who was involved or what might have caused that crash. The Oakland Airport changing its name again. The new name, Oakland San Francisco Bay Airport, is meant to reflect its strong Oakland and East Bay identity. According to the Port of Oakland, it comes a year after the port tried to change the name to San Francisco Bay Oakland International Airport, and that was blocked by the courts for using that name after SFO complained that it violated its trademark. The board will consider adopting the new name at its meeting on July 10th. Anthony Tordillos is going to be the next member of the San Jose City Council. Tordillos is right now the city planning commissioner. He declared victory yesterday in the special election runoff to represent District 3, which covers downtown. His opponent, nonprofit executive Gabby Chavez Lopez, conceded the election Thursday afternoon. Tordillos will replace Omar Torres, who resigned from office and later pleaded no contest to child sex crimes. The most recent results showed Tordillos leading by a wide margin, 64% to 35%. Done deal. Chill ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. The Golden State Valkyries kicking off their inaugural Pride game today. We are hearing from fans on how the team is creating a safe space for the LGBTQ community. Well, to kick off San Francisco Pride this weekend, more than 200 couples will be married at City Hall in a celebration of queer love. This comes a day after the 10th anniversary of the landmark Supreme Court decision in Obergefell versus Hodge that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. The Valkyries celebrating Pride today. They're taking on the Chicago Sky, and everybody attending the game will get an exclusive fan for Pride weekend. There's also Pride entertainment throughout the game, including a performance by drag star Ronnie Reddick coming up at halftime. The Valkyries looking to bounce back from a close loss against the New York Liberty. The good news, the Sky have been struggling so far this season with a record of 4-10. Game time, 7 o'clock tonight at Chase Center. Enthusiastic fans are now starting clubs to celebrate the team. That includes members of the LGBTQ community. Kelsey Thord introduces us to the founder of the Valkyries.
For many LGBTQ people, specifically queer women, going to a Valkyries game is an experience unlike much else.
You know, it's the representation to see ourselves being able to come out and be a part of the community with just ease and joy.
Queer women have long made up a significant portion of the WNBA fan base. Recent studies show upwards of a quarter of all WNBA fans identify as lesbians.
It's not surprising at all. We just got this brilliant moment to all meet up somewhere where we all belong and we can all fit, you know, and come together and celebrate.
Audacious Wilson and Valerie Trout are two Valkyries super fans doing what they can to connect the LGBTQ fan base.
You know, kind of a meetup so that people can come out, enjoy the games, the away games especially.
And they're not alone. Since the Valkyries season started, several LGBTQ fan groups have popped up, including the Valkyries, headed up by Megan Doherty Baker.
It just feels like this could be kind of big in terms of how many numbers we've got and the diversity that the group can have and what it can look like and all the different ways that we can engage and connect with each other. It kind of feels like sky's the limit right now.
The Valkyries have already hosted several events and are planning more and more every week. As someone who's been a basketball fan for decades, Lucy Bledsoe told me it's wonderful to see both the connections fans are making with each other and the support the WNBA is giving to their LGBTQ fan base.
It's amazing. I remember the early women's professional leagues where they tried really hard to say, hey, we're straight, we're straight. I literally saw, I think it's the Pioneers did a game where at halftime they did a heterosexual marriage. You know, they were so afraid of the queer audience, and now they're just opening their hearts and doors.
Every WNBA team is hosting a Pride Night this season, including the Valkyries. It's something fans love to see and hope will help to create lasting connections long after the season ends.
It's unreal, it's unbelievable that this arena, this platform is giving us this space to build so much more community.
All right, back to our first alert weather, taking another live look outside. Let's check back in with meteorologist Zoe Mintz.
Well, from the beautiful shot of the Golden Gate with not a single bit of fog to it, to a gorgeous sunrise over the Bay Bridge this morning with also not a single bit of fog and a little bit of haze from that inversion layer early this morning. But either way, with plenty of sunshine throughout this afternoon, calm winds, temperatures warming up to above average. And that does mean, because it's the summertime, UV index is high. We're at a level 9 for this time of year. That is very high. It only takes about 15 to 25 minutes to burn, so make sure you drink a lot of water. Don't forget the sunscreen, the hat, the sunglasses, all of that typical warm weather gear. You are going to need it this afternoon, especially if you live farther inland. If you live closer to the coast, it kind of depends on how sensitive you are to the cooler temperatures, because mid-60s and a little bit of a breeze up to 20 miles an hour. You might want to grab a light jacket, but not a warm jacket like you normally would need, because sunny skies are so nice for the coast this time of year. While our inland areas with the sunny skies and mid to lower 90s, that's going to be hot out there. So you probably are going to want to limit your time outdoors. If you do have to spend a lot of time out there, make sure you're just safe about it. By the time that we step out tomorrow, temperatures are going to be very, very similar to what we're feeling today. Once again, going to be seeing those mid-90s across our inland areas, and we might even be getting into the mid-60s along the coast. So maybe a degree or two warmer along our coastal communities tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. But again, it is not going to last much longer than that. A gradual cool down will be heading our way Sunday and into Monday. So let's enjoy these above average temperatures while we can. It's just a little bit of a break from that more typical June pattern that we have been seeing. And those wind gusts staying below 25 miles an hour, hey, we'll take that too. Calm winds this time of year is really a really nice thing. High pressure is the reason that we are going to continue to see these well above average temperatures through tomorrow, but winds pick up, a little bit of moisture arrives, and those cooler temperatures arrive as well by the time that we step out into early to mid next week. So keep that in mind. 90s only sticking around through Saturday, cooler and more comfortable weather by the time that we step out early next week, along with those more typical June gloom conditions. Back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. Coming up, soap opera fans always dream of stepping into that world of glamour, intrigue, and drama. We'll talk about the opportunity I was just given. Well, they say it is never too late to chase a dream or do something you've always wanted to do. CBS Morning's Never Too Late series celebrates people stepping out of their comfort zones and blazing new trails. And now I'm getting the chance to do just that.
Now, people, you have to listen.
I have been fascinated by drama since I was very young and quite restless, growing up in a small town in Wisconsin.
The actor was the prime main actress. I took my breath away.
As a child, CBS's legacy soap operas were part of the daily routine. I'd even record them on my parents' old-school VCR, dreaming of what my adult life might be in a place like the fictional Genoa City. In the meantime, I'd always been interested in acting, and as I grew, I considered trying my luck in the fickle world of showbiz. But then, CAL FIRE says this fire is now 12% contained. I found the right mix of drama, shock, and awe in the real world, moving from print to radio to television news.
CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Thanks for joining us this Friday. Many of those years spent anchoring the noon show on CBS News Bay Area, which is right before The Bold and the Beautiful and right after The Young and the Restless. I even got to mark this milestone a few years back.
I grew up watching Young and the Restless, so you're both looking fabulous. I have to say congratulations on 45 years.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It feels good.
And this February, I got an inside look at the newest soap, Beyond the Gates.
This is billed as being soapier than other soaps, so that's pretty exciting. What are we talking about?
I know, I love that description. Soaps are about to get soapier.
But when it came to real daytime drama, I was always on the outside looking in, on the other side of the satellite or the screen, until I realized it's never too late. So I am getting the chance to do a bit part in The Bold and the Beautiful. I'll be taping that next week down in LA. We'll keep you posted on the journey as it unfolds. It's pretty funny. And as the episode airs here on CBS eventually. So we would love you to share your never too late story, and it can be featured on CBS Mornings. Upload a 30 to 60 second video at nevertoolate.cbsnews.com. Still ahead. Cricket craze in the Bay, how the unicorns are showing out as fans are showing up. The Bay Area's cricket team is on a hot streak. The San Francisco Unicorns still undefeated after a win over the Seattle Orcas. The Unicorns are playing their first season as a Major League Cricket team. It comes as many Americans starting to catch that bug. They're going to play tomorrow in a rematch with the Washington Freedom. Thanks for joining us.